Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Ashley's Treasure, and today I am participating with the April's ABC collaboration, and today I'm doing the letter M, and I have two things in mind. So I'm going to make a masterboard out of these book pages that was from like a garden book, and they're kind of thick in a way, so I thought they would be great for a masterboard. And so they wouldn't go to waste. And then I've been, again, the Reader's Digest, I've been trying to use up these pages because there's so many pages in them. So I'm going to use that. And I'm also going to be using my distressed Oxide sprays. I was looking for my browns and I couldn't find it. So I remember that I recently got these. And so I'm going to use those. And I also found a Heisercraft, the charcoal, and then one I got from Michael's Recollection that's like coral, which I think would go good with the blues. So I got like the teal blues, the orange yellows, and then the greens with the distressed oxides. And so, oh, and you also need glue. I finally got more glue sticks. So yeah, I'm just going to start tearing them apart. I was going to get at least 3 of them to work with because I want to do one masterboard of each color. And I'm going to be using my ruler. There's the straight edge and then there's like a deckled edge that I did myself. And because I'm going to be tearing the pages and I'm going to need a lot of pages. So this is definitely a way to use up your pages. If you have a book like this that you want to use up instead of just throwing it away, use them. You're going to need a lot of them because I think it took like around 7 or so per masterboard per page. So yeah, I ended up going through quite a few of them. The first time I thought I had enough and I ended up having to go back and tear out a couple more. So yes, I went through quite a few pages, which made me feel really good repurposing them. All right, I thought that was enough at the time, but I actually ended up using more. So now I'm going to get the ruler out and then I want to tear off all the white areas because I just want parts with the words on it, the typing on it. And then I'm just going to do it like all different sizes. There's no measuring in this at all. They're just whichever way. Some of them I did horizontal, some of them I did vertical, some of them I did with a straight edge, some of them I did with the deckled edge. Some I did thinner, some I did thicker. You know, I made all sorts of different sizes, but not too thin, but you know, about like an inch or so. Some were probably a little bit thinner than an inch, but yeah, it was so fun just I was just going to town tearing them apart. This is like a great thing to make also if you're stressed out and having a bad day. You get to just tear things up and then just slap it down and glue it. There's no wrong way of doing this. So what I did was, of course, use my glue stick and I'm just going to slap it down. There are no straight edges in this. You don't have to worry about not having corners touch and making sure it's perfectly straight, you know. Nope, you just plop it on there. No stress needed. It was so relaxing and so enjoyable. I'm definitely going to be doing this again with masterboards, and it was just so relaxing. I definitely recommend trying it and to use up all your book pages. But yeah, to this, you're just going to see me. I glue the side that had less writing on it. So I tried to get the ones with the most writing, the side with the most writing, and just glue the whole thing and just make it look like it fell on the page. Also, normally when I'm doing masterboards, normally I start from the center and work my way out. But this time, it didn't really matter where you start. So I actually kind of started from one side and worked my way over and just kept covering every part of the page. Here's when I found out that I did not have enough pages, and so I had to tear up a couple more to fill up those last few holes, last few spots. And there's the first one done. So now fast forward and I got all three of them done. That was so much fun and relaxing. So recommend it. Alright, so now it's time to get the trimmer out. And so now I'm going to be cutting off all the excess. Again, I'm not doing any measurement. I'm just cutting off a little bit of the page to make sure that it's all straight and all the pieces are that's hanging off are cut off. Look how perfect that is. So I did all three of them, and actually this part kind of, doesn't it look like mountains and you could color them and like layer them? It's actually kind of cool. Anyways, off topic. Here I'm going to start with the yellows. I'm using mustard yellow, wild honey, and carved pumpkin. I started off with the pumpkin, and then the mustard seed. I wanted a lot of yellow in it. And then this was the in-between one, the wild honey. And then I thought I needed a little bit more orange because there was so much yellow in there. And then instead of letting it dry first, I started using the Kaisercraft charcoal. It's like a black. And as you can see, it's starting to bleed a little. And I was like, oh no, that was such a bad idea. Just then, I kind of like it. It made it so different, and I just wasn't expecting it. And I liked how it kind of like bled through a little bit. And so it kind of like webbed out. And so now I'm going to get my heating tool to help speed it up. But I didn't want to stay in one spot too long or it'll get hot. But I kept going all around until it dried up. And then I thought it needed some yellow up splatter. So I got the mustard yellow out and splattered some yellow spots on there. And again, getting my heating tool and trying to dry that up. Alright, now it needed some orange splatters as well. So I got the carved pumpkin out. And again, going to dry it with the heating tool. Alright, now I'm going to start the green. It has peeled paint, mowed lawn, and twisted citron. And I was shaking up, make sure it all shook up really well. I liked starting with the darkest one first, and then the lightest, and then the in-between. I noticed I kind of liked the way that turned out, and then I would do like any like touch-ups. And I just kept spraying all over until I made sure that it was all covered. Oh, and I also have this, there's this big roll of cheap paper that I get, that's actually for the kids, for them to do like finger painting on. I get from Walmart. And so I just rolled some out and covered my desk so that way I wouldn't have distressed oxide all over my desk. So that's what that white paper is. And now I'm going to be adding some more splatters of the darkest and the lightest and getting my heating tool out and make sure it's all dry. And you can start seeing the oxide reaction going on as well. And I did blot some of it with a paper towel to help speed it up. Next is the blues. There's cracked pistachio, peacock feather, and mermaid lagoon. So shaking them up really good. I'm going to start with the mermaid lagoon, the darkest, and then I'm going to use the cracked pistachio. I absolutely love this one, so I wanted it all over. And then I'm going to fill in the peacock feather in the little pieces in between to blend them in. And then going to start heat tooling it to help dry faster. Some of it, still had pulls. And the heat, the pressure of the air kind of helped to move it around and give more detail. Right now I'm going to be adding a little bit more because there's still some white spots. I think I used peacock feather on that. And then I'm going to use the darkest one, Mermaid Lagoon, and do some blue splatters. And then also the lightest one, the cracked pistachio all over, because I love that one. And then I thought this one with the coral, because it's like a shimmery color one. And I thought that would look really cool on it, because I thought it would look kind of like a rusty color or a copper color. And it soaked like right into the paper, the oxide sprays, which I was not expecting. So I kept adding more, and it was not bad, but I was expecting it to be more bold. I wasn't expecting it to lighten up like that. And then I also added a little bit of the charcoal. I only did on the bottom left and the top right corners. And now I'm going to get my heating tool and make it dry. And blotting up whatever little spots to help speed it up a little. And now it's time for the next step, but look how cool this looks. I think this would be great for scrapbooking. So now I'm going to get some water out and do the blotting. It could have been done, it was great just by itself, but I think the Oxide made it even more exciting, and then the splatters, and now the water to soak up some of the color, and now look at all those splatters everywhere. I really love this. And now I'm trying to do some little ones and some big splatters. And now just going to blot them up. I let it sit for a second so it can react and then blot them up. Look at that. Love it. Especially all that black running through. And now it's time for the green. I'm trying to do a little bit smaller splatters. So I just put a little bit of water in the little cap and just kind of getting some on my finger and splattering it around, letting it sit for a second, and then going to absorb it, blop it up. And now you can see all the little drip drops of water, the reaction that it gave. I'm going to do a little bit more. I thought I might as well use that last little bit of water. Let it sit for a second, and then blotting them up with the towel. All right, now it's time to do it on the blue. And again, this time I'm actually going to use a paintbrush and kind of doing different types of splatter, doing a little bit smaller ones, and they kind of go like when I hit it with the paintbrush, you know, kind of gives like a streak of splatters. There's so many different ways of doing splatters, however you want. And here you can see it going through the paper towel and blotting up all the rest. And I love that look. Oh, look at the black. You can see the coral color shining. You can see the Mermaid Lagoon. And now look at this. I'm seriously thinking of using this for scrapbooking. I really like the look of it, the colors, the green stuff. So I took my ruler, and that would so work for a 12 by 12. I think I'm going to use that. So now it is time to start trimming them up. Again, I'm not really measuring. I'm just cutting where I think it looks good and what size tags and stuff I could make, belly bands, whatever really. And so yeah, I'm just trimming it down in different sizes to make tags and stuff. This one I actually did measure because I found out that I could cut it in threes to get the same exact size, which isn't necessary, but. And now it's time for the green one. I'm cutting more smaller ones in this one. None of them are the same. Each masterboard I cut completely different. Now it's time for the blue ones. I just kind of went by too with the way the splatter and everything turned out, how I feel it would look good in a certain size tag or pocket or something. And this one I couldn't make up my mind which way at first. But I thought I would trim right here and then cut in half the other way. So I cut there and then in half. All right, so it was still still a little wet, and you can see it getting on my hands, but isn't that so pretty? Look at all those colors. And so some of them I'm going to make into little tags. So I'm going to get my corner punch, and I use the largest corner and make them turn into little tags. Some of them were a little thick because of the layers of book pages on there, but I was still able to cut it and not break my trimmer or my corner punch. So I'm going to leave those ones as is. Now I'm going to start doing the green ones. I didn't do this on every single one of them because not all of them I want to use as tags. I was kind of using more of the medium or small size for tags. And like this one, but the other three I thought I'd save as is for like little cards. And like same on this one, I thought this little one would be great as a little tag. Oh my gosh, look how great those are. I love that one. And you see here, you can use them as like little pockets. You can use it as a side pocket. You can use it as a belly band. There's so many ways you could use them. I also thought, I brought up my frames that I did for the letter F, and I got some paper dolls out. I was going to actually decorate and make some tags out of these, but it was so late. I didn't have any more time, so I was just kind of bringing out stuff that I already have, like clusters and stuff, and my frames. And so you can kind of see like ways you can use them after cutting them up. Like, look how great these are, and they could like sit on the frame and look at that background and then just add like some flowers or something coming out of it. There's just so many ways how you can use these as like a background, as your base, and to work off and just start using things that you already had pre-made and start, kind of collaging and just adding one thing on top of another and see how they turn out. And they turn out so great. Like, look at him sitting on the little frame with the green background. I thought about these Monopoly cards and I could trim it down. I thought that one wouldn't look bad. I really love this girl. Like, she works out on everything, it seems like. And then have that little frame and then trim it down. And then it could be still a pocket or just a tag and journal in the back. Even these mini ones with the little dolls, look how great that would look. And then have some flowers behind it. Same as the yellow ones. See how great that would look with the little paper dolls and have them like hanging onto something. So here are all three of them. Oh my gosh, I'm still obsessed over the blue ones. But I hope you liked this and inspired you and gave you some ideas. And if you liked it, give a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.